Hello and welcome to Mervin's Crick Quiz. South Africa are ready to welcome their tourist England who are traveling all the way down to Cape Town, South Africa on November 27th. The tour kicks off with 3 T20 games. Because of COVID-19 restrictions, all games are at Cape Town. They are not traveling to the other parts of South Africa for the T20 series. Now, if you look at Cape Town, wow, what a venue! With the Table Mountains in the background, that particular view is one of the most beautiful scenic grounds in the world. This will host the 3 T20i series this time, in a week's time from now. So if you look at this ground has got a very peculiar looking record. Over the last 13 to 14 years of T20 cricket which has been played here, among all the other South African grounds, if you look at this graph, it tells you that this is not really a fast scoring venue. The economy rate or the runs per over here of Cape Town is much below than the rest of the South African venues. And here in the second chart, you can see that the strike rate of the bowlers as well is improving match by match over the past few matches that have been played recently and also in the past. So overall, bowlers might think that it might be a happy hunting ground, a less stressful ground. Well, let's see once the series starts how it actually pans out. So if we look at the batting of both the teams, you have some very big superstars in action. You have the South African top three, whom a lot of responsibility will lie on: the captain Quinton de Kock, Faf du Plessis and David Miller. And you have the English stalwarts, which right from the top to the bottom filled with super dynamite superpower. Bairstow, Jason Roy, Morgan, Butler, Stokes, the list just continues. And why not, how can you forget David Malan? He's one of the top T20 international batsmen going around the circuit at the moment. So a lot of pedigree in that English batting versus a heavy dependency on these top three South African batsmen. A lot of other young, inexperienced players also part of their squad. Now, usually in Cape Town, as we just saw, the par score is between 155 to 160. Maybe if you end up scoring 170, you might just win the game because it's not really a very high scoring ground. In terms of strike rate, any batsman striking above 132 seems to be a very good job done here in Cape Town based on the past records. The boundary frequency is 7.2 balls per boundary, which is very high given today's day and age for T20 cricket. Because if you look at the rest of the venues, you will see the boundary frequency of 3, 4 or 5 balls per boundary in most venues around the world, not only South Africa. So here things will be interesting in terms of boundary scoring, strike rate, runs per over. All of a sudden the table slightly shifts down from what we've been used to, and it will be very interesting how the batsmen cope up. And this is exactly explained in this chart here. If you look at the English dots in red, it shows you they are in the top left segment here, which clearly shows you that all the English batsmen are striking above the Cape Town average strike rate, and they are scoring boundary much more frequently than what the Cape Town average suggests. Now if you look at the South African bit of it, here, most of the South Africans also lie here. The big green dots indicate Quinton de Kock, du Plessis and Miller. However, you see a lot of other inexperienced or a lesser experienced players who are lying in a segments which show that they are scoring a bit slowly compared to the Cape Town average or the South African average. So when you look at both these charts together, England and South Africa, you will definitely want to be in the English camp when it comes to the batting perspective. Now when you look at the bowling resources of both teams have got very good pace attacks. Jofra Archer, Chris Jordan, the Curran brothers, Mark Wood in the English lineup. You have Rabada, Nokia, Ngidi in the South African setup. So both powerhouse seam bowling attacks. However, from a spin perspective, definitely England gets the benefit with Adil Rashid and Moeen Ali in their squad, while South Africa have got a lesser experienced players like Fortune, etc. in their team. Now, when you look at these charts here, it shows you that the England bowlers are lying in a segment where you will term them as expensive wicket takers. From a Cape Town perspective, these bowlers will be a bit expensive looking at their overall T20 records. However, they will be wicket taking. Now, when you look at the South African side, you will see a big cluster everywhere. A large chunk of them are lying in the right spot, which means they're economical as well as wicket taking. But there are a lot of guys also spread across the other side of the segment where it tells you that they are expensive while being wicket taking. So it's a kind of a spread. There is no pattern as such for South Africa. This is because of, once again, the mix of experience and youth. So the top quality pace bowlers along with inexperienced bowlers and lesser experienced spinners, when they are competing against the English lot, definitely the English bowlers will have an edge of experience, and they will have a more wicket taking approach rather than what the South African record says. Remember, these are all records, these are all statistics of their T20 international career so far, and this is being compared versus how Cape Town's average has been. So looking at that perspective, both batting and bowling, the English side seems to be in a better shape looking at records on paper, but when you have the action on the ground, it will be a different ball game altogether. It will be very interesting to see how the South African youngsters or the big guys, the big guns with Quinton de Kock's captaincy stand against this English lineup of superpowers, of power hitters and destructive bowling attack during this course of. Now, England are favourites, but South Africa, you cannot count them back as well, especially playing at the home ground. Let's watch this series carefully to understand if we have a future superstar in perspective with the South African team, or someone from the English team puts up their hand and says, I am the next superstar. So keep watching Mervin's Cricket Quiz for more. I have the link put at the bottom of the description of the video of my website mervincricketquiz.com for further such snippets and more details into what we just explained.